where the Bills host the Miami Dolphins. In the game of the day, maybe the game of the young season in the National Football League. The line at BetMGM, Buffalo in between a 2.5 and a 3-point home favorite. It's 2.5 minus 120, so juiced big time towards the home team, the Buffalo Bills. The total, a sky-high 53.5. For Miami, Jalen Waddle is back after missing last week's game, though a 70-burger against the Broncos with a concussion. It looks like Miami's going to have Teron Armstead in this game. He's listed as questionable. Jalen Phillips is out. Salvon Ahmed is questionable. Also, he won't play because, Devon Achane had about 9 million yards last week behind Raheem Mostert, but it looks like they'll have Salvon Ahmed back for Buffalo. Jordan Poyer is going to miss this game. He's the one guy on the Buffalo injury report with an injury status. He is out, which means, Ken, we will likely see Damar Hamlin make his season debut. I know that, the public will be on the Dolphins, whatever. Everyone that we've had on the show this week, I don't think one person is like the Miami Dolphins in this game against Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'll ride with Miami here. Now, I'm looking for I haven't gotten the bet in yet. I want Miami plus. I'll even pay a little bit for the +3. I'm not betting +2.5. I want Miami.
You don't even
+3.
really have to right now. There's popular domestics 3 minus 15 Miami. You could just get.
Great. Okay, I'm in. Yeah. So I'm gonna bet Miami during the break here. Then I want a piece of the Dolphins. I make Buffalo a small favorite in the game, -1. 3 I think is going to be a good bet. I think Miami's slightly better than the Bills, and I like Miami's coaching staff better than Buffalo's. I'll take Mike McDaniel in the head-to-head matchup against Sean McDermott, and I'll take Vic Fangio in the head-to-head matchup against Ken Dorsey. Give me the Miami, and Josh Allen's better than Tua. So, I don't want anyone to get confused with what I'm about to say. Josh Allen is better than Tua Tagovailoa. If I had to choose one, I would choose Josh Allen. I also think Josh Allen's more likely to make a critical mistake in the big moment than Tua Tagovailoa. Allen's better. Also, I think he's more volatile with the football than Tua is. Give me the Miami Dolphins +3 on the road in Buffalo. Nick Costos versus the world.
I'll do comeback here just because I don't have any bets on the game. If I had to bet it, God, either 2.5s or even they're all -25 or something. 2.5 -20 at MGM is the best price going on Buffalo. I don't think I want either side of that bet. I would like Buffalo a little more just because I have a ton of questions still about Miami's defense against everyone that they've played, basically, and whether they can hold up against Buffalo. Whereas with Buffalo, there's some chance they can hold up, and Miami, I'm not even sure there's a chance yet that they can hold up against a team like this. Just would be skeptical, and the total therefore being so high and everybody that's playing, I think is fine for comeback player of the year. Just because a lot is going to happen this weekend now with this award market. Damar Hamlin was all the way down to -110, -115. He's out to almost -300 in a lot of places. And that's obviously a reaction to the tweets from NFL reporters that he's going to be active. If he's going to be active, then are a lot of people, who feel just by playing, even by playing one game, even by playing one snap, that he secures this award with that accomplishment because it's a tremendous comeback story. And by the way, those people don't have to be wrong. My whole point this entire time has been I think that's much more of a guess than anything. I think that's more of yeah, he could, but also that doesn't fit with the entire history of the award. It's week 4, and we're saying things guaranteed that he's going to win. In week 4, we're saying that. I don't like using that. I don't like thinking that way. I don't think anybody should think that way about an award or something that you want to bet, that with 13 weeks to play, we just know, and that in 15 weeks or whatever, when people vote, that they're going to necessarily it has to be this way. Does it? Okay, what if he plays 4 games this year and plays on special teams? Then we're going to get to the end of the year and everyone's going to just it has to be this. I want to know who the other candidates are. I want to know how the season has gone. I want to know a lot of stuff. So I've always just been skeptical that he should be as big of a favorite as he is, not because he can't win, but just I have questions. I'd like to see how this plays out. And so I've been building positions on really long shot guys. Cause if I'm wrong, I'm out a little bit of money. And if I'm right, I buy a yacht. It's just that's a good position to be in. Those are the kind of markets where you want to take shots. The last thing I'll say here. So his price will get, he will become a bigger favorite this weekend because he will be on the roster and he will appear in the game. Even if he plays very limited snaps or special teams or whatever, he's on the roster, he's going to play. And so his price he'll become a bigger favorite. So you would never bet other players this weekend. That'd be silly. His price is the one that's going to change. And what I'll also add is the thing that's been the wrongest in the market has never been him, and at least since the season has started. It's been that Tua is the second choice. And I honestly think he's ineligible to win and no one's going to vote for him. And the thing that happened today that I did not like was that when Hamlin became a bigger favorite, all of that win probability came directly from Tua. So like almost no one else's price changed. Tua became a way bigger price and Hamlin became a bigger favorite. That's the market to me, like becoming more like fair price on everybody, because like the Tua price is the wrongest one. And they're basically saying like, oh, he's not 120 anymore. He's 350 or he's 4-1. That's like, oh no, like that was the way to make bets, is that he was never going to win. So I just, the market got smarter today, I guess, because whether you like Hamlin or the other guys, the prices didn't improve in your favor, and all, Tua's price is the one that went up, which kind of stinks. So my goal is going to be, okay, like let's see how far out Hamlin gets. As we get to the middle of the season, as people start talking more about awards, not right now, there's a frenzy around his return right now. When we get to the middle of the season and later, when people start talking about this, what are they saying? And does it seem like there is some ambiguity about whether he's going to win? And that will probably guide more of our decision-making beyond these like initial bets that I've made.
For you, please, Brad, Saints and Bucks on Sunday in New Orleans.
Yeah, let's fly the fleur-de-lis first, gentlemen. And for all the Sazeracs, I love Chris Olave. I took the over at, I grabbed the number at 72.5 receiving yards. I know it's crept up, still in the 70s. I probably played up to like 84.5, quite honestly, against the secondary at Tampa, which is also ailing to a certain extent. Going to get a lot of Christian Izine in coverage out of the slot, who's given up an 88.9 catch rate to his assignments. Tampa, as a collective in that secondary, allowing 7.56 pass yards per attempt. Olave, a gaudy 31.7 team target percentage, one of the highest in the NFL, number 6 in total air yards, number 7 in total yak. His lowest performance this season, 86 yards, and I think he's going to flirt with the century mark in this one, so I'll take the over receiving yards. And then my cousin, I apologize for dragging the family name over the coals, but Mike Evans, I'm going to take the under. The Lattimore history is very unkind to Mike Evans. These guys have had some choice words one another over the years. It's very well documented, very well noted, as we've all seen play out on camera. Lattimore has, not really lived up to the usual high-level expectation so far this season, but he's going to be plenty motive in this game to shut down a guy he is extraordinarily familiar with. So I'm taking the under on my cousin in receiving yards, 59.5. And right now, BetMGM, the only book I think that has that number of 59.5. Everybody else is a little bit lower. So nice value on that line. Standard juice of minus 115 as well. So again, Olave over receiving yards, and I live in the land down under on Mike Evans.
Joining us right now, making his You Better You Bet debut, and I've been a fan of this guy for a long time, does outstanding work, like breaking down fantasy football. Reception perception is unbelievable, kind of changing the way people in the fantasy football community think about wide receivers and projecting wide receiver performance. And as we've talked about on this show for the last couple of years, like the intersection of fantasy sports, prop betting, betting on games has never been closer than it is right now. Matt Harmon joins us now on You Better You Bet.
A lot of people were skeptical, and myself included, about maybe what the Rams were going to be this year. And part of that was driven by the fact that once Cooper Kupp went on IR, and once it was like, is he even going to play this year? You look at the team on a sheet of paper and you just go like, how's this going to happen? Like, Stafford's great. How is this going to happen? And a large part of what's driven them so far has been the performance of Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell, and they play at the Colts this week. I'm curious kind of like what you've seen from both those guys. Like, here's kind of a forgotten draft pick from Louisville, and then here's like a rookie who really, I don't think anybody, even the Nacua family, maybe kind of like saw this performance coming. Nakua's prop against the Colts this weekend, low 70s, Tutu Atwell, high 50s. Curious if you could see some of their success continuing this weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't count myself among the Nacua family, obviously, but I was a real big fan of him as a prospect. But yeah, even I was like kind of higher on in the consensus, even I didn't see this coming, right? Like you said, nobody saw this coming this start to the year. But the thing that stands out to me with Puka Nacua is, like, this is a guy who can line up outside and beat man coverage. That's what he showed in his collegiate reception perception profile, 74% success rate versus man. And then right away from the jump in that week 1 win over Seattle, mostly he's running against zone coverage, and he's a very good zone coverage receiver as well. But you saw like several instances where he had to go against physical press man coverage, and he would win on the outside. I think that's critical in this matchup against the Colts because, as you mentioned, their outside cornerback position has been an area to attack. It's really been like the one time we've seen the best of Calvin Ridley was when he was lining up on ISO routes against man coverage against this Colts defense. So I like the way Puka sets up here. Obviously, like I think 73.5 is kind of a big number. Definitely, that's always scary to push the over on something like that. And if you are a little freaked out by that, you look at Tutu Atwell, who's been primarily an outside receiver. Now it's like outside receiver when you look at the data because he's again been that full speed pre-snap motion player. They'll probably line him up in the slot and then move him full motion, and he gets counted as an outside receiver because that's where he is when the ball is snapped. So it's not like true outside receiver stuff like we see with Puka, but that pre-snap motion again is going to get him a lot of advantageous opportunities, and we've already seen that play out through the course of the season.